Private,
If
not for profit.
make sure you're muted as you enter.
Make the link.
We're just gonna give it a moment and let people come in from the waiting room. Just give it one more second. Right, and we're gonna get started. Good afternoon. This is a hearing before the Boston Cannabis Board, the BCB. Today is September 20th, 2023. Today's hearing is being conducted pursuant to certain temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. This hearing is being recorded and we post it to the City of Boston's website. Before I review some procedural matters, I will introduce Chairwoman Kathleen Joyce.
Thank you, Jasmine. My name is Kathleen Joyce. I'm Chair of the Boston Cannabis Board, and today I'm pleased to be joined by my fellow commissioners, Commissioner John Smith, Commissioner Lisa Holmes, and Commissioner Gabriel Camacho.
Thank you, Chairwoman Joyce. And my name is Jasmine Nguyen. I am the Boston Cannabis Board Manager. We are also joined by Allison Quinn, who is the Project Manager for the BCB. While the public is encouraged to attend, there will be no additional public testimony. Before I forget, we do have our Cantonese interpreter joining us today. Terry, thank you, Terry. Should I turn on the interpretation now, or are you gonna?
I'll make a brief announcement in Cantonese. Thank you, Jasmine. Hi, everybody. My name is Terry. I'll be your Cantonese interpreter for the BCB meeting today. 大家好，我係 Terry， 我係你哋廣東話翻譯。咁一陣咧，你喺屏幕下邊就會見到一個地球嘅圖標，你撳落去再揀 Cantonese， 你就可以聽到廣東話嘅翻譯啦。咁如果你係用手機或者係 iPad 上嚟嘅話咧，你可以揀下屏幕下邊3個點，再揀更多，亦都可以入到呢個廣東話嘅頻道。好啦，咁我哋而家就打開呢個廣東話嘅翻譯頻道啦。Thank you. Now, Jasmine, you can turn on the interpretation. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that's all set. So where did I am? So I will read each item into the record, followed by I will read each item into the record, and then there will be comments from the board members. I will then ask if there's a motion to the proposal before us and any questions on the motion, and then there will be a vote. Each board member has the ability to grant with conditions, defer, reject without prejudice, which means the applicant can return anytime with an application at the same location, or reject with prejudice, which means the applicant cannot reapply at the same location for 1 year. We will begin with amendments to already approved licenses. The applicant is Holland Brands, SB LLC. The license premise is 115 K Street, also known as 538 East 1st Street, South Boston. The license type is a retail recreational cannabis dispensary, and the license request is to use the DBA Native Sun. Are there any comments from the board members?
No comments.
Seeing no comments, Chairwoman Joyce, is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the DBA change.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And none opposed. Petition is granted. All right, now we will move to our new license applications. The first applicant we have is Frozen 4 Corp. South End Buds. The proposed license premise is 1679 Washington Street, South End. The license type is a retail recreational cannabis dispensary license. The proposed hours of operation are 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Saturday and 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Sunday. This is a non-equity applicant.
Thanks, Jasmine. I'm kind of struggling with this one. I'm not really sure how to treat it. The presentation was on last Wednesday was, I think, thin at best, and they have since supplemented their application and their proposal with a lot of materials, which I haven't had a chance to fully process and synthesize. I haven't had a chance to ask questions about what they submitted. And I know with what the augmented materials presented, there might be other questions that my fellow commissioners had too. Just a few things. I know there is a buffer zone here and we received certified plans.
There's, Commissioner, there's no buffer though.
This isn't the buffer zone one?
No,
All right, my apologies. Sorry. We augmented this one with what the security plan, the augmented security plan. There was something else.
Security
too, right?
plan, security proposal.
And then what Commissioner Smith asked for, the,
Yeah.
okay, my apologies there. So again, there's certain things that I wanted to ask with the security plan, which I didn't have an opportunity to do. Oh, there was no buffer zone, but there was a challenge to whether or not there was a buffer zone from another previously approved applicant. That's what it was. Whether or not the other place was, whether it's 2,922 feet plus or minus, and then the Hurley School issue. So that's what I was thinking about. So those are my comments. I'm eager to hear what the other commissioners think about this one, but I think it was thin. I know they augmented it, but I still have a lot of questions.
Commissioner Smith?
Thank you, Jasmine. Yes, I agree. I think that the presentation was a little uneven. I'm looking at, we just received some additional material today. From what I'm seeing, it looks like the security plan, the security firm, which looks like Ed Davis something, was just sent over something yesterday. So it's like you have a new security firm who's going to review the security operations plan. From the comments and some of the things we looked at, it felt as if the folks were not satisfied with the community process. Thank you for sending over the supplier diversity. Just had a glance at it in about the past hour, so I appreciate all that. But it did feel very uneven and very much like there needs to be more sort of community engagement and a more engaged process there. So I'll leave it at that for now.
Commissioner Camacho?
Yes, thank you. I too found the applicant's application very thin. And I found that the employment plan lacked a lot of specific details, especially when it comes to recruiting, those impacted by the war on drugs, and how would you go about measuring that recruitment process? What were the goals, and et cetera. A job fair is not sufficient to recruit workers for the cannabis industry, especially if you are targeting people of color and those impacted by the war on drugs. Yeah, I will stop there.
Commissioner Holmes?
I will be recusing myself from this vote due to a conflict.
So it's noted that Commissioner Holmes is recusing herself. Any other additional comments from the commissioners? No. Chairwoman Joyce, is there a vote? Is there a motion?
Yes, I actually have a question on the motion. I know this board under previous iterations have gone back and forth between a deferral and a reject without prejudice, which would allow them to come back at any time. That's kind of where I'm leaning towards. I'm willing to entertain another opportunity to have them represent and answer questions. So I'm leaning towards deferring the vote at this time. I make a motion to defer the vote.
Defer the vote till,
They can come back at any time. To me, there isn't procedurally a big difference. I know.
so the difference between the two is a deferral doesn't require them to go back to the community or submit a new application.
I think they need to submit a new application.
Okay, so then that would be a rejection without prejudice.
Okay, yeah, so then my motion would be to reject without prejudice. They can come back at any time and represent. And I do think they need to go back to the community.
Okay, so yeah, to reject without prejudice.
I second.
Second, and all in favor?
Aye.
And none opposed, so reject Without prejudice, which means the applicant can reapply. They will have to submit a new application and go through the process again, community meeting, and submit updated materials. And it is noted that Commissioner Holmes recused herself from the vote. Right. We will move to the next item. The applicant is TGLD 3 Inc., doing business as the Green Lady Dispensary. The proposed license premise is 130 to 132 Boylston Street downtown. The license type is a retail recreational cannabis dispensary license. The proposed hours of operation are 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. This is a non-equity applicant. Chairwoman Joyce.
Thank you. They've scored very low for me on community feedback and public support. I think there was no support from local elected officials, and the support they had, I don't think it garnered more than, for me, a very low score in general. The location, we could go back and forth and debate what it means to be an urban college campus, but in my opinion, they are surrounded by Emerson College buildings. And to me, this is an issue. I don't think their safety and security plan responds to what I see as an issue. I don't think running a cannabis establishment in a resort community like Nantucket is the same as running a cannabis establishment surrounded by college buildings. They didn't say that they would require backup IDs with pictures. I don't know if that would actually even change my mind, but I definitely think this location will put a strain on police resources. Majority of the population there are students under 21. I think this has ramifications on Emerson's plan in general as a college institution with roots in the city of Boston. I discredit the fact that Emerson is participating in the beer garden across the street. That was a public process run by the city of Boston, and Emerson is one part of that activation. I think in general, they are a good business operator, and I want to give credit there, but I just don't think this is a good location, no matter how we wordsmith where it is and the impact it will have on the surrounding community.
Commissioner Smith.
Thanks, Jasmine. I think we put students in a position, I totally agree with Chairman Joyce. I think we put students in a position where if they are caught with something that is illegal on their campus, their education is in jeopardy, and it's pretty accessible. Again, not wordsmithing whether they're on the campus, adjacent to the campus, across the campus. It seems like they're pretty campus oriented somewhere. It's right there. So I would agree that the location is problematic. And so, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Commissioner Camacho.
I recuse myself from this application.
Okay, so it's noted that Commissioner Camacho recuses himself from this matter. Commissioner Holmes.
I reiterate what the chairwoman and my fellow Commissioner Smith said. I think it's a great business plan. I like everything about it. It's just the worst possible location they could have possibly thought of. So, aside for that, the location is just very problematic.
Chairwoman Joyce, is there a motion?
You guys need to come up with either a
Based upon the comments from the other commissioners, my motion would be to reject with prejudice.
Is there a second? Commissioner Holmes, all in favor? Okay. So it's noted that the application is rejected with prejudice, and it's noted that Commissioner Camacho has recused himself from the vote. So that means the applicant cannot reapply at this location for 1 year. We'll move to the next matter. The applicant is Dragon Buds Inc., doing business as Dragon. The proposed license premise is 25 to 29 Beach Street, Chinatown. The license type is a retail recreational cannabis dispensary license. The proposed hours of operation are 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Sunday. This is the non-equity applicant, and there is a buffer zone conflict with another cannabis establishment. Chairwoman Joyce?
My only comments are, I really didn't think this was a strong application in any category.
Commissioner Smith?
Thanks, Jasmine. I'm gonna go back and say that it felt like we were putting in a cannabis shop to really support housing. But then the overwhelming reaction to, what folks wanted to see their community, what people wanted to see in their community was a lot to overcome. And I don't think that the presentation was strong enough to overcome that opposition. So I agree.
Commissioner Camacho?
Yeah, similar to Commissioner Smith, I found this a gentrification project disguised as a cannabis facility. Having $500,000 condos does not serve the working class community of Chinatown. I also found the presenter's characterization of the Chinatown neighborhood very dismissive, especially the businesses that cater to the Chinatown residents. I found that somewhat offensive. So those are my comments.
Commissioner Holmes?
I don't need to reiterate. My chair and my fellow commissioners said it all.
Chairwoman Joyce, is there a motion?
Yes, my motion is to reject this application with prejudice.
Is there a second?
Again,
All in favor?
aye.
And none opposed. So this application is rejected with prejudice, which means they cannot reapply at this location for a year. The next item we have is Injaga Delivery LLC, DBA Zaza Zoom. The proposed license premises 1457 VFW Parkway, West Roxbury. The license type is a courier delivery operator and product manufacturing license. The proposed hours of operation are 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. This is the equity applicant, and there is a buffer zone conflict with another cannabis establishment. Chairwoman Joyce?
To me, this was an example. The presentation was pretty weak. We use our hearings as an opportunity to be able to ask questions, and we do have the board memo as backup, but there wasn't a lot I could garner from the proposal at the public hearing on Wednesday, and that's unfortunate because it gives people an opportunity to hear more about the application if they weren't able to participate in some of the community process. But that being said, we're tasked with figuring out, first, there's a buffer zone here. Is there enough that's unique or a reason that should persuade us to pierce that buffer zone? I'm not entirely sure. I'm gonna wait and listen to what the other commissioners have to say, but it's a different use. So I can see that it's not exactly the same as the HCA that created the buffer zone in that general area. We didn't receive a lot of support or opposition. I think we actually just received 3 letters of support. And again, I know it's not a retail establishment in a neighborhood, but if you're going to be a part of the community, I think you really need to do that work with the community and become a contributing member to the community. And that, in my opinion, requires going out and having those conversations, asking for that support, talking through the opposition. But they did have, I'm not an expert on employment plans, but after reading the materials and the board memo, I could see that they did put some work into that. A lot of the stuff was like vague and aspirational, and so to me it was just it wasn't exactly a standout. I didn't see any major issues with what they were proposing in their board memo. But I guess those are my comments for now. I'm curious to hear from my fellow commissioners.
Commissioner Smith?
Thanks, Jasmine. I give them some grace to their delivery and all that, and so nothing so strongly about the buffer zone. Although I think people keep piercing the buffer zones, and we probably have to have deeper conversations around that. But the delivery, they're not a dispensary, so it's a different business model. I too was a little bit kind of, I need to hear more about your plan for hiring, for all these different things. And that seemed a little bit, again, uneven, a little bit not clear. But I also remember that they've come before us before. So, I think there's a chance for the public to hear them at the first meeting and at this meeting, and I had to go back and look at some stuff and think through. So, yes, while I didn't think that the presentation itself was great, I think some of the implementation and what they want to do is pretty good. And again, going back and listening and hearing from them twice, I had a kind of fuller understanding. So I will leave it there. Yeah.
Commissioner Camacho?
Yes, I wasn't at the first meeting when they appeared before the board. But I did consider that it is a delivery cannabis facility, and its location on the Parkway is a good location for a delivery business. And I agree with everything else that the commissioner said. That's all I have.
Commissioner Holmes?
Yeah, I agree with Commissioner Camacho. I think I gave them a lot of grace because of the location. It's a delivery, they're set back, off the beaten path. They had come before us before. I thought their presentation, I know they had to go back and do a community process, and they did that. And they had support from some of the West Roxbury community. So that's it. I don't know what else to say.
Thank you. Chairwoman Joyce, is there a motion?
Yes, I agree with what everyone said. I guess my motion would be to grant this application conditional upon the buffer zone issue being resolved.
So granted conditionally pending zoning relief.
Zoning relief, yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and none opposed. So the application is granted pending zoning relief. Granted conditionally pending zoning relief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, our final item, old and new business, we have Evoke Inc., the proposed license premises 1102 Blue Hill Ave, Dorchester, Mass. The license type is a retail recreational cannabis dispensary license. The BCB is in receipt of correspondence that Evoke Inc.'s application for a provisional license with the CCC was denied. Additionally, Evoke Inc. have been dissolved. So with that said, Chairwoman Joyce.
My motion is to revoke Evoke's HCA.
Is there a second? Yeah,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
And none opposed. So Evoke Inc. at 1102 Blue Hill Ave, the HCA has been revoked. All right, so those are all the matters before the board today. Our next transactional hearing will take place October 11th, 2023 at 1 p.m. Hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day.
Thank you.
Commissioner Holmes has a question, Jasmine.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Commissioner. I didn't.
I did. So
Okay.
it was just about, we revoked his HCA.
Yes. So they would have to reapply for a license at that location.
Okay, that's all I was trying to
Yes.
figure. Okay, all right, that's it. Thank you, Allison. Thank you.
Sorry, I missed that. Thank you, Elsa.
Okay.
All right, now this concludes our meeting. Our next hearing will take place October 11th. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day.